All of us will eventually die. No matter how many resources you have and how much money you grind for in this life, you still can't buy immortality. At least nobody has managed to do it yet. Doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter what status you have, sooner or later you die. Death is something almost everyone fears. Maybe you're some kind of psychopath or absolute badass with a big cigar who's not afraid of dying. But for me and the average person, death is one of the biggest fears they will ever face. And biologically that makes perfect sense. Fear of death is basically the foundation of survival itself. It's the reason our species stayed alive this long. You could even use that as an argument for immortality, but no. You will ask why? You'll see in the video. So, most of our fear of death comes from the unknown. What happens after death? What does it feel like? Can you even feel anything at all? The human brain simply can't fully imagine what it means not to exist, not to live, because nobody has ever truly come back to explain it. Well, except one guy who turned water into wine just to flex on people. And technically there are also people who got the beta version of death, you know, when their heart stopped for a few minutes and they somehow came back. But actually fully documented resurrection from 100% death, yeah, never really happened. So nobody can tell you what not living feels like. And that uncertainty terrifies us because we can't even slightly comprehend not existence. Even if you're religious, you will probably still fear death to some degree, because deep down you still can't fully picture what life after death would actually be like. And fear of death isn't only about the unknown. Sometimes we're afraid we won't achieve the things we dreamed about in life, that we will run out of the time before becoming the person we wanted to be, and many others reasons. So yeah, I just listed you a bunch of reasons why humans fear death and why death is sucks. And now you're probably thinking, yeah, screw all of this, I'm ready to have skin that looks like pepperoni pizza but without pizza. Just give me fucking immortality already, please. But let's move on to why immortality might actually be a curse. The most obvious reason is the loss of everyone you love. If you were immortal, you would outlive every single person you ever care about. Your family, friends, everyone. And that's exactly what movies and TV shows always show us. Immortality isn't just about living forever, it's about watching everyone else disappear. And for many people that alone removes the meaning of life. At some point you have to ask yourself, could you accept the fact that everyone you know will eventually die, and you will be still here? The next problem is meaning itself, or more precisely the motivation to do anything at all. Think about it yourself, why start anything today if you have forever? I'll get shape in 400 years, I'll learn a second language in 800 years, I'll figure my life eventually. Trust me dude, you will do nothing because you have forever. When time is infinite, every decision loses weight, nothing feels urgent, nothing feels truly important, and eventually you end up asking yourself, if I can do everything an infinite number of times, why do I do anything at all? This is where you start to realize something strange. A lot of the beauty of life comes directly from its mortality. Every best moment you ever had happened in the shadow of its ending. Every laugh, every feeling of love, every moment of happiness, it all mattered because it was temporary. And dude, if you randomly start feeling afraid of your future death and your life isn't actually in danger, relax, because you were never immortal and suddenly became mortal. You were always mortal. Every single moment of your life has already been shaped by that fact. So instead of fearing it, maybe the better move is to actually live inside it, to enjoy it because it's unique. Because every moment ends, and that's exactly what makes it valuable. We value things not because they are eternal, but because they end. So yeah, enjoy this moment while it's there, and if you're afraid, remember that you're not alone. Every single person on this planet is mortal, and the billions of people who lived before us were mortal too. Maybe mortality was never humanity's greatest curse, maybe it was always its greatest blessing.
The gods envy us. They envy us because we're mortal. Because any moment might be our last. Everything's more beautiful because we're doomed. You will never be lovelier than you are now. We will never be here again.